Thank you very much. Thanks, Stephen. Thank you very much. Right. Oh, wow. You just brought me down to memory lane. There's so much that we have shared, and thanks for that introduction. Now, I understand that you have taken time, all of you, for on this evening, your precious evening. So I really want to thank all of you to stay for another 60 minutes with me. What I'm going to share with you about confidence today, and also a little bit of the work that I'm doing, a bit of my history. Stephen start from the part where he gets to know me. So I'm going to bring you back a little bit deeper into what shaped me and things that I hope that when with what I share, it can also support you facing those difficulties that you're facing. I understand that in COVID period, we are all stranded by all sort of challenges. So hope that today's session, I can help you to discover some of the new findings or new ways. And along the way, I share some of the visual tools that can support you in visualizing your new journey. Yeah, I just share part of what I like. Usually Zoom most of the people are very, very quiet, right? So in order to, and Stephen said that I'm a very vibrant kind of person. Ash thought that I had ADHD.
I think everyone has ADHD. So
Yeah. So in a way, I sort of really like people to use emoji icons in the Zoom to react as I go along. Thank you so much. Yeah. Right, thank you so much. So as and when you feel that, oh, there's something that I shared and it spurred that kind of emotion, yeah, bring it up. Okay. Right. So that's that I encourage. And you may have a question along the way, so feel free to drop into the chat and I'll address those questions in a while. Okay. So here I share with you the agenda for today. I'm going to talk a little bit about what is the OMI and followed by the main piece of today, how to build that confidence. So I am not academically inclined. Hence, whatever that I learned are all through hard knocks and my personal experience. And I learned that the important thing to build your confidence are three areas. Always stay motivated and always have aim for a goal that is measurable. Finally, you really need to stay very committed so that you can maintain that kind of confidence. And I'm going to talk about how to discover that new you, or I discover the new me by changing the story and changing how I introduce myself. Right. So let's move on to part one. All right, part one, get your tissue ready just in case, yeah? All right, so a little bit down the memory lane of me. When I was a teenager, I faced a lot of struggle and challenges, and there's always a very victim mindset of me thinking that, oh dear, this is how I probably describe myself when in my younger days. When people ask, tell me about yourself, that's probably how I introduce myself, because that's what my life is. So I learned to actually not to do that now, but allow me to bring you through my journey so you can understand why was I introducing myself this way. So everybody would actually go through this route of the real journey, and there are 4 stages. So this is my real journey. At age 16, I am as rebellious as all teenagers. So when my mommy said, no boyfriend, and that's O level, I go against her and I end up in a relationship. Guess what? That was a very, very possessive relationship. I was slapped, I was scolded, I was thrown, and I was cheated by with monies, and also I lost my virginity. So at age 22, that's the year where my first boyfriend forced me to go for abortion. Reason is because he is planning to further his study in Melbourne, and he doesn't intend to keep the child nor wanting to really get married. Instead, he was suggesting to have sort of like a term break so that he can pursue his study. So after contributing so much into this relationship for so many years, I just couldn't accept the fact that all this has been wasted. And I couldn't accept the fact that I have actually failed my parents. So shame is a big thing. And not being filial is another thing. As a Chinese, there were all these values that was trapping me and making feel very, very worthless. So I just cannot convince myself that I'm making my parents proud. I'm doing things right. All the things in my head were very negative. Okay, you are a horrible lady, you're a horrible girl. That's why your boyfriend don't want you, and then you're carrying a child, and then you know all sort of negative thoughts just invade my mind to the extent where I cannot control and I lost my mind. I was having very, very bad mental challenge. And I closed the door, popped about 2 boxes of Panadol down into my throat. Yeah. So my in that evening of the night, I just wrote a letter, and I was crying, and to a point where I start to, vegetate. Some white foam came out. Suddenly I realized I'm not wanting to die, and banging on the door, and then my dad banged in and they sent me to the hospital. So I did have a near-death experience of me floating up. When I reached the hospital, I really can know that the nurses pushed in a big tube into my throat, deep into my throat, and all that I can see was just blood gushing out. So that was one of the most horrible experience that I ever encountered. So one word of advice here: in any time, any point of time, if you know anybody faces challenges or telling you that I have suicidal thoughts, or I think I need help, put down everything. Just be there with the person, even though you do not know what to do. Just stay present with the person. Right? This is so important. And always advise everyone to have a SOS number in their phone. I think that is also very, very important. So with me able to live life again, there was still one thing that I'm not able to convince myself. Do you know what that is? I managed to live again, but there's one thing that I cannot convince myself. Anyone?
That you're worthy?
There's too much shame in me. Yeah, and I bring my parents down. I failed them. So the next thing in my head was, I'm still a failure. So the thought of failure was very, very deep in me. And I decided that the best way to live my life is to leave Singapore. And God bless me with quite a good figure lah. Okay, thank God then. I decided to join airline and wanting to fly. Yeah. So there was a time where I actually met my first husband. He was an airline trainer, and we met in the airline. He then tell me that don't fly, because airline is very chaos. There's too much things that will not bring me to wherever I want to go. So he sort of understand my failure, and he sort of like wanting to convince me that I am not a failure. He also want to convince me that I have my worthiness. And he said that, let me help you. Let me prove to your parents that you can have a good marriage, and then you can actually live on. So I married him, and I had a baby. Now, from the time I abort to the time that I conceived, that period, I was actually told by my gynae that the abortion damaged my womb and I cannot have a baby anymore. So when my first husband convinced me, and when we got married, I was pregnant, that to me was a miracle. So in that exploration stage, I was like, wow, suddenly filled with so much hope, suddenly filled with so much promises. And then I was convinced that, oh, I'm actually not a failure. Now there's new hope. Now there's new life. And I went on to marry to him. Life is such that it's always up and down, right? So my life with him wasn't as what he promised. So guess what on the next stage? When I was 30 years old, I was actually expecting my second baby, but also found out that my ex-husband then, he had affair, not one, but many affairs. And there was this one time, one of the saddest moment of my life. I remember I was 7 months pregnant. It was very tired on that day. So I'm supposed to stay with my mom because my mom can take care of me. But somehow I decided, no, I should go back to my marital home. And when I reached home, I realized something is not right. There were clothes all over the floor. And the next thing, when I pushed open the door, and I caught something that I shouldn't see. Yeah, so that was not what any women want to witness. But the next thing that I faced was, he wanted a divorce and told me that he, all along, he was just helping me, and he has done what he promised. So now he found his light and he wants his life back. So he left me for the women. And at that point of time, this was what I felt. There was so much pain in my body, and in my head, I was just thinking. And one thing about me is I sort of like pretty persistent. I don't give up easily. So I keep asking myself, what else can I do differently? What else can I do so that I can keep the marriage? Yes, I did still have suicidal thought. And I just don't know if I can just run away, or the thought of suicide is not going to help because I have already a son and another baby in my tummy. So suicidal is not going to help me. But there was so much pain, and I was just struggling with what should I do? What should I do? Why me? Why me? So the victim mindset was so powerful that I totally really need help. And I went through these stages of grief. There was sadness, there was anger, and I ended up in depression. That little pounding movement in my tummy seems to be giving me a sense of warmth and tell me, hang in there, mommy, hang in there, mommy. So what I did was, I took courage. I took courage to hang on there. I took courage to keep on telling myself, this is not the end of the world. Let's have some grace. Open the door. Let him be where he wants to be. So I told my ex-husband, you have the right to go to wherever you want to go, but my door is open. The reason why I told him that was because for my two children, I still do not want them to grow up without father. So I said, you go. And when he left me with a lot of problem. Firstly, he left me with a 7-digit debt. Secondly, he left me with a house full of stickers, government crest sticker. Do you know what does that mean? Anyone? Okay. So
Can you say again? Sorry, I didn't hear.
stickers.
Uh-huh.
All the valuable things at home were pasted with stickers.
Oh, you
Crest sticker.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
receivership.
Some kind of a summon of read, is it?
Yeah, it was seizure.
Mm.
So anything valuable in the house, I cannot sell, I cannot touch. It's under government possession already. Reason was because I exhausted my CPF. I have no more money to fund the house. I exhausted all my salary because every month his debt, I need to pay the along. I've been paying the along. Every 2,300 that I bring back home, 2,000 go to along. I only have $300 to survive. Yeah. So there was this day when I came back home, I realized there's nothing in the house. There's no milk powder, and the fridge was really, really empty. And I went through those days where I can just have porridge 午餐肉 and 鸡蛋. And to me, that's the most comfort meal. Okay, luncheon meat, 1 egg and porridge. That's the most comfort food. And those kind of days, $50, I can survive the whole week with my family. So what did I do when the whole house has nothing, no money, and house full of seizure, but I need to buy milk powder because my son need milk powder? I went through the whole place, and at that time I was 7 months pregnant. I went through the whole place and looked for things that I can sell. But with the house full of stickers, thank God I only managed to find a dot matrix printer. I managed to find a lot of CDs. I managed to find some pots, plates, whatever thing that I can find. I put them onto my baby pram and I piggybacked my son. Right? I was pregnant, I piggybacked my son and pushed it all the way to Toa Payoh cash converter. So at the Toa Payoh cash converter, the guy gave me $10 for my dot matrix. I said, well, not bad. This one has no sticker and it worth $10. I was really, really happy. I got $10. I know $10 can do a lot of things for me then. So I was really happy. The CDs, that is a no-no. All got confiscated because they were pirated. Yeah. The plots and plates is not worth, and I was only given $5 for those plates and pots. But there was one thing that saved me that day. And I walked home with $50. There was a stone, which I didn't know. That was actually a crystal. And I just didn't know that crystal worth so much money. Yeah, those kind of rocks, you know. Yeah, so I was really happy with the $50. I can buy milk powder and I can buy some groceries. But I was mindful, do not spend all of it, and I need strategy to plan for the next few weeks. Yeah. So in the market where I often patronize my grocer, she saw me in a very bad shape, and then she was checking in with me. Hey, what happened to you? I told her what happens, and she gave me an idea. So she asked me, Irene, are you free? I said, what? Why? And she said, come on this weekend and help me bake for my birthday. I said, But I said, I don't have money and I only have $10 after I calculate. So at the most I can have $10. And then he said, okay, I tell you what, let me help you generate more income because you need more money. Why don't you just come and teach the people in my birthday party how to bake instead of you baking for me? So I went in there, and that weekend, she put a donation jar there for anybody who want to contribute, you know, to help me, and put down a little bit of my situation there in the note. And we managed to actually raise $100. I was like jumping up and down with joy, all right, with my big tummy. Right, but that was a big win for me. It was from $0 to the $50 to the $100. It takes a whole week, and it takes a lot of effort for a very, very big fat pregnant woman. But there was so much win inside me, and there was so much joy inside me. And what I'm sharing this story, what I'm trying to tell you is life can be really, really giving you left, right, smack. Right? It can throw you spana and it can really kick your butt. All that you need to do is keep the faith and trust. Remember that your self-worth, there's a lot of things that you can do, you just don't know yet. Right? You need to find the right network, you need to find the right people, and you need to keep having that faith. So I was really blessed. I overcome that journey. I managed to brave myself, file in for divorce, and strike an agreement with my ex-husband. As long as you don't contest, give me the full custody of the 2 children, I give you full access to the kids. And that has been really, really good. Until now, I think my kids are maintaining really very healthy relationship with their father. They are growing up very happily, and they actually thank me for being so open. My lesson was learn to forgive. Forgive helped me to actually let go of all the unnecessary burden that are too heavy for my shoulders. When I let go and when I forgive, I'm able to shine better. So at age 30, I adopt this nickname Sunshine. I know that after you forgive things, you're able to be lighter, you're able to smile better. And I become more unafraid of things. I start not to doubt things. One of the big things that my boss teach me, happy that he's here, my ex-boss, to serve very, very sincerely, to always help out. He was the one who guided me and teach me, change my life, turn my life around. I'm really grateful for this man who is in my life. So I learned to live more happier and be an inspiration to people that I know and make use of my hands, things that I can do, and start enterprising journey. So that's my nickname, Sunshine, and that's what it stands for. I hope you like that. Right, so I met my ex-boss when I was around 33, 34, and because I adopted the Sunshine, so that's why probably he sees that I'm always smiling. Right, so there was this mindset of I just have to maintain to be, contribution and growth. These are two big things for me. Be a contribution, see what are the things that I can contribute to the people around me, and keep growing. So I was given the opportunity to be a VP in that school at age 40, and open myself up to dating again, then start my business with my current husband at age 36. We started this visual company. So I remarried at age 40, and we become a well-known visual company in Asia. So brave myself again at age 42, because my first two pregnancy wasn't very memorable and it wasn't a good something to make myself enjoy motherhood. So I asked my husband, do you want to have a son with me? Right, so I shyly asked him that, and he said yes. And God is great. He really gave us a son. Right, so at age 40, we had a little baby Zelig, and he is now 6 years old and going to P1 next year. So 45, I will thank you so much. Thanks for your encouragement. 45, I managed to form a lady or women company called Circle of Phoenix, where I support more women to grow, believe in themselves, learn the power of confidence, learn the magic thing about to forgive, and then be grateful. So these are a few things that I keep on empowering women with, and then help them start their enterprise also. A few women have started their business and see how they've flourished. So I start giving talks and also support my husband in his work at the same time until COVID hit us. So whatever that we have done, we have to redo all over again. And now we have to put everything into the virtual. So that was a journey. So that is my real journey. And I went through this 4 phase of rebellious, exploration, adjustment, and also to become a leader. So any thoughts over here now about what's your real journey? What was something that you learned along the way that, every one of us have our own real journey, right? So what's one value that you have learned in your last 20 years? There was something that I think it has to be some achievement that you have, or some self-worthiness that you picked up. Maybe you have suddenly become a very proud father, right? Or you grow or shine, you get to become that position that you have always wanted. Or like Ihan, right? He has achieved so many wonderful like the Haze mission that he was championing. I think that made me very, very proud as well. Right, so we all have our moments of our journey and lesson that we learn. So our journey is really giving us energy and strength. So look at it this way. Anyone want to share anything at this point?
Oh, Irene, I just have to say that while I've listened to this story I have the privilege of listening to this story a few times, but every time you tell it, you still engage me 110%. So thank you for helping us better understand your journey. One question, if I may ask, right? What was really intriguing to me is that no matter how desperate you were, you never resorted to doing the easy way out. You were a young lady, and you shared how you were blessed with a good figure. So there are probably many easier ways to make money that would have made you would have eaten you up more, and may even have caused others to feel more hurt, right?
Yeah.
But obviously that was never an option to you. Can you help us understand how did you keep yourself away from that path?
I think as when I was much younger, I do know friends who even tell me, hey, I have some easy money making ways for you. And then at that age, it's very easy to like, oh, tell me more. And then looking at them, wow, suddenly they're carrying branded bags. Suddenly they're, wow, a lot of money in their wallet, right? But for me, it's probably because of my upbringing, the values that it's always inside me. It's a moral issue that it's something that anchor very strongly in my roots. That is, whatever I do, 不偷不抢不骗, you know, all this kind of thing. I won't steal. I won't go and cheat. I won't go and beg. I won't go and sell my body. So these are all those values and morals that was rooted inside me. And my parents have raised me up. I won't say that it's a well-to-do family, but they have. I witnessed how my dad have to move those heavy machinery and then fix things, burn midnight oil in order to earn enough money to support 5 children. I see the pain and I understand. And since young, I already told myself, I want to grow up and give my parents better life. So there were these, I think I'm blessed with these values inside me that it anchors deep inside me that I need to be 脚踏实地, you know, really work hard for my journey. And also my mom told me something, this is really funny. My mom told me something when I was very young. So I'm born in the year of the ox, right? And I'm born in the hour of where the ox need to start work at 4 a.m. So my mom said in Hokkien, sorry, pardon me, Raju, I'll translate in a while. All right. So my mom said, let's see gumia. I told Kang besai so I said, I am born in the year of the ox, and at 4 a.m. I need to work really hard. So my life is not a piece of it's not smooth sailing. I really need to work hard. So don't go by the fast pace, fast lane, right? That's why I also don't buy Toto. So Ihan, just now you asked, right? I never respond. I don't buy Toto. Right? I have to work hard. So when I was younger, it's already kind of rooted in me, and I accepted that I blessed in an environment where I witnessed what is hardship, and I went through the path of how do I, as a young mother, set good example for my children. Yeah, I want to, even when I haven't had children, I already instilled this thought of when I become a mother, I want myself to be a proud mother. I want my children to know that mommy is a proud lady. Yeah. So think of our next generation, or think of our future, is also one thing that I've always working on myself. Like any action that I take, what's the impact to our next generation? Right. So that's why Mother Earth speak a lot to me, because it really impact our next generation. The things that we're gonna do, it's definitely gonna cause an impact. Yeah, so I'm very conscious about bringing an extra bag when I go out. I'm very conscious about not using the straws. I'm very conscious about having greens. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Ash.
Yeah, no, I think as a parent, and if I were your dad, and no matter how rebellious you were and rejecting all the things that I say, but clearly you have picked up some of the more important message, which is the need to stand proud and to never demean yourself more, right?
Yeah.
So no matter how rebellious you are, I'm still going to be very satisfied as if you were my daughter, if to know that you have kept that most important value. Yeah.
You have to have a conversation with my dad. Right. So I am happy and very grateful that my parents they are very forgiving parents, And doesn't matter whatever happened in the past, I think they're so forgiving that they keep telling me it's okay. You are our daughter and nothing matters. Yeah. So I think parents, any parents in this room will probably be able to relate to that. Yeah. Okay. Now, Ava has a question to me. Right. So she asked, where do you get your confidence from? Right. I'm going to share with you now, Ava, where do I get my confidence from? Okay. So let's get going. So there are 3 things that help me build my confidence. So I'm going to share with you, and these are all my personal experiences. I have actually uploaded a workbook for all of you. And inside that workbook, if you scroll up on the chat, you can download that workbook. Inside that workbook, there are some of the visual templates that you can use, and you probably can also jot down some notes here, right? So to me, this is all that matters. Happy chemical. Right, happy chemical. So first thing to build your confidence, give yourself a lot of motivation. Surround yourself with people that are very inspiring and motivate. You know, they are very highly motivated people. They're very positive, and they gave you a lot of happy chemicals. So there are different kinds of happy chemicals, right? So we need the reward chemical, we need the love chemical, we need the painkiller chemical, and the mood stabilizer as well, right? So these are things that we can work on. And one of the most powerful chemical that works for me is the reward chemical. So I'm someone who need to like, I'm born in the year of ox, pardon me, okay? So I need to chokang one. I need to work very, very hard and feel productive in that day. If there's any day that I don't feel productive, I don't feel rewarding, and that kills me. So if I don't feel productive that day, my solution is go to the kitchen and make a sourdough. Right, so I'm happy with my kitchen. Go in the kitchen and then whip up something. Go to the fridge, open and see whatever I can find and just make something out of it. So you can imagine my husband, why he keep on putting weight, right? Okay. Right, here, I'm going to share with you one of the visual. Yes. Thanks for reminding that Mao Shan Wang, right? Yeah, that is a reward chemical as well. When I was much younger, my reward was Haagen-Dazs ice cream. At this age, suddenly, I don't know why, for this month, my reward is Mao Shan Wang. Okay, I'm going to share with you. If you download the workbook, you can also find this inside the workbook. Now, if you don't have, that's fine. It's very easy to draw. You don't have to draw all those complicated icons. Just basically do a circle if you have paper and pen with you, and just label it. So what I think all of us need is, we need to have like a report card. So because I'm a visual person, my report card basically look more visual than the traditional kind of report card. So my report card looks like this. What I suggest you to do is list down which are your growth over these 5 years. What are the achievements that you have attained? Do this with your children if you have children, okay? Because you also help your kids to stay very motivated, especially when they tell you, I am not good. I have very, very bad feelings about myself, right? Some kids, they tend to feel depressed or lost their drive. So do this with them and always show them, look at your own report card, this is how good you are. So there was some recognition, someone mentioned great things about you, or you could have some of the work that you have done and you make some achievement. Responsibility, being father is a great responsibility. Right? You have attained fatherhood, and that was something to cheer about. There could be an advancement on your career, so that's something that you are good about. Growth, you started stretching, then you started walking, now you started running. So these are different achievements that you have. So what I'm going to do now, okay, I'm going to send you to a breakout room, and you're going to discuss with your partner. Okay, let me see how many of us here.
8.
Okay, good.
8 of us.
Yeah, you like to work in pair or you like to work in threes? Threes. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to send you the breakout room, and what you're going to share is, each of you take turn to share one achievement is enough, okay? At least one okay, it doesn't matter whether it's achievement, recognition, the work itself, the responsibility, advancement, or growth. Any of this is fine. If you want to take a screenshot, you may take a screenshot. If you want to use the file that I gave you, it's okay as well. Otherwise, you can also draw on a piece of paper or just have a conversation. So share what? One
piece of achievement.
Yes. Okay. Very good. I will open the breakout room now. Okay. Let me. Okay. Balik because I need to recreate the room. Welcome back. Did everybody get a chance to share?
Yep.
Was it too short?
Yeah, for room 2, only me and Yihan, so confirm got enough time.
Okay. Right. So that definitely will be something they can put onto your report card, right? At least one thing, right? If you have shared, so that could be one thing. And for me, at that time, I don't have such a visual, but at that time, I collect motivation quote, and I have a board full of a lot of motivation quote. And sometimes I write something about what I did well or my achievement, and I add on to the motivation quote. So that's like my motivation board, right? But for now, I thought this visual would be quite nice to help you record, and can use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to grade your level. This could be an activity you can do with your kids, or you can do with your partner, or you can do with your friends or yourself. And remember, these, whether you're doing a motivation board, or whether you're doing this achievement card, put it at a place that you can see every day, because that is what you want to remind yourself to stay motivated. And that's where you can look at yourself when you're feeling down, when you're feeling like that day you judge yourself, you're not you're not worthy for that day, you felt like I'm not worthy, or that day just wrong. Now it's okay to be honest. I have my down day as well, and there are just those days where things just doesn't work. So just tell yourself, it's just one of those days, and let it go. All right, and let it go. So even that day your hair is messy, even you step out, you will fall down, all kind of things will happen, but it's okay. It's just one of those days. But don't forget, when you want to keep on being that confident, you need some kind of a motivation. And I hope this can be one of the good helps. So for me, that was a motivation board. And the second thing that I think that works for me is what my mentor has guided me. Set SMART goals. Make sure that my goals are able to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So when I set some goal, and then it has to spell out. So I have a visual again to share with you. How do you make your goal measurable and precise and able to attain? So firstly, for example, I want to have an iPad. I don't have an iPad. Like Stephen, struggle with the Lenovo right now, right? Okay, maybe get an iPad. Right. So, okay, I need to save $600 in 6 months. So that's some kind of a specific kind of an idea. So you list down your dream on the cloud. So clouds represent our dreams, right? Things that are still floating. So I use cloud to do that. And mountains are like your obstacle. So that's why I put not enough money under my mountain. That's my obstacle. I need to overcome mountains of obstacle. And I set my goals on this side of my chart, right? And then the next thing that you need to do is make sure that 600 in 6 months need to be measurable. So that arrow is a bridge, is a way for me to get from where I currently is to where I want to be, right? So I need this bridge, and by breaking it out, 600, wow, like a big sum. By break it out into 6 times, it becomes more measurable and attainable, right? Okay, so this is one way that you can do. Now, making it even more attainable, you can't just have 600, but then you don't know how to get it. So I need to make sure that I must find a method of how to get that money. So it could be a new part-time job. It could be something that you have inside you, your talent that you have, and then you can make a living. Like that time, I don't know how to get milk powder. So I look into the house, what are things I can sell? I look at my hands. Oh, I can actually teach people how to bake. And these are my talent, my gems. So spend some time and look at what are your gems? What are things that you are given? and you have not utilized that. Some of us are very good at talking. Some of us are very good at actually singing or performing or even very nifty hands. So think of what are your talent, right? And what are the tools that you actually have and you actually have not used it. So list it down. These are your tools. Lastly, time bound, measure across a period of date. So this is a sample of how you use the SMART goal over a visual. And why I like visual, because it helps us have a better perspective and clearer bird eye view. Okay, so this is what I need to do, and I put it up on my wall, and I know, okay, and I can check list over it. Good, yeah. So I hope you like this tool. It can be found in that workbook as well. Okay, the third thing that drives me. So after I firstly get motivation, secondly, believe in my dream, make a SMART goal. Third thing is you need to stay committed. All right, you need to stay committed and consistency. So I learned through all my experience that is commitment. Commitment is not just continue to do things. Now that here and there bound to be things that doesn't serve you. So in my life journey, my first marriage doesn't really serve me, and I learned to let go. So these are things that are my obstacle or my distraction. I learned to focus on what actually will drive me forward. So for me, my definition of commitment is to say no to everything else so that you can say yes to the things that really matters. Okay, I repeat again. Commitment is to say no to everything else so that you can say yes to what really matters. And we come out with this visual of, you can list down what are your commitment. My commitment is to, okay, and then list down what are things that brings you joy. Minus away things that give you a lot of stress, right? And put that into a plan, a checklist, plus what are the action you need to take. And stay with this. This commitment, you need to repeat 21 days to start a habit. So stay with this for 21 days and start to build the habit. And once you're able to do that, your confidence will start to gain because it's already part of you. Okay, so these three pieces, the first one, motivation, and then the second one, your SMART goal, and the third one is commitment. Good. Okay, so Eva, I hope that this will give you some idea how do you actually gain confidence, and also to all of you, if you find that this is helpful, okay, share it with people that you know, share it with people that you think that will find this that are helpful. And after that, I have done all this, I actually learned to change my story and change my life. So one way that I do is actually to rewrite my success story. So instead of earlier on, I show you the old me, right? I now introduce myself differently. So I come up with the nickname Sunshine, and that's what it meant for. And I also introduce myself differently. So I told myself that I'm now giving speeches to help women on know more about women empowerment. I also give topics and speeches on mental health. And I'm also using visual to support company to grow. Right. So these are things that I like to put myself in a changing of my story so that I am staying motivated, I'm staying confident, and I can make more things happen. I want to share with you this. How many of you have kids? Okay, well done. All right. So I struggled with my children a lot of times. When I ask them to do things, they always say, cannot, I don't know, I don't want. Right. So in order to be successful, whether you're doing it for yourself or you want to help your kids to be successful, this is one screenshot that you need to take. All right. Because like I have my stepdaughter. Whenever I want to tell my stepdaughter to do something, it's always a lot of effort. She will tell me this, I cannot. Okay, she straight away tell me, I cannot, which is the I can't, right? I cannot, I can't. So her chance of being successful is only 10%. And then I start to change her mindset by saying, hey dear, maybe you can think of it this way. Can you start with saying, I think I might? So I start to pace her at 50%, because when you start to tell yourself or your kids or your friends or people that you know, think of it how you phrase yourself, change your story, change your perception. You start to think differently. If you were to, instead of saying I can't, but you say I think I might, your chance of being successful is actually 50%. So when they don't know how to do certain things, when they're not clear, just think of it this way. If you do not know, go and find out. So you think you might be able to do it instead of straight away say, I can't. Right. And I've used this chart to help people to reshape their thinking and rephrase their belief. It has higher chance of success rate. Right. And a few times you use this chart, revisit this chart again and ask them a second time and ask them a third time. You notice that they're actually able to grow their chances of success. And they're able to switch from I think I might to I might, and then slowly move into I am. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question, okay? Right. What's your choice of rediscovering your new story? Can you give me on the chat?
Can you rephrase the question?
That question is on my screen. What's your choice of discovering new you?
Can you have an example?
Yeah. So using that my 3 method, right? Okay, the motivation, the SMART goal, and then also the commitment, right? And then change your stories that I was saying, right? What do you think are the choice of discovering that new you, or you can help somebody to discover that new you? I hope you are starting at I think I might. Or nothing less. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yay! I think I can. Wow, I have a 70%. Woohoo! Bravo, bravo. I had 100%. Wow, James. Thank you so much. All right. So I hope that I'm able to spur you with confidence. I'm able to help you believe that confidence can be built, right? All you need to do is believe in yourself and manage your mental health is one very important key. Trust yourself is the next very important key. But in me, my journey is all about gratitude. It's all about forgive the person, forgive things, let it go, and just be grateful. So be grateful for all those things that happened to me. It took me like almost 20 years for me to realize, oh, so that was why my past happened. So I'm just very grateful for all my life experience, because these are my small rocks, small pebbles, and shaping me to who I am today. So with this, I thank you, all of you. So stay strong and have a very fulfilling life. Thank you.